Hello everybody and welcome to yet another map tour. I am Raven and I'll be taking you on a tour of the canyon today. And leading this tour is going to be Einar Golderson, my warlord character. Doesn't he look awesome, guys? We're very excited to get to show you this map. This is actually the first map we'll be taking you on a tour on that is not a Dominion map, at least not yet. Who knows? This might turn into a Dominion map later. What I'd really like it to turn into is that three-way battle map that we had. They apparently took the canyon and remodeled it into that three-way fight that they did. I'd really like them to bring that back. That'd be really cool. But beside the point, here we are in the canyon. Let's go ahead and take a look around. So Einar is going to lead us onto this dock. Now, as you can see, it is snowing because I use the climate and background that this map would be located in. And since the canyon is a Viking map, I put it in Valkenheim, so it is snowy. That does affect it. Now, if you look around, you can see some longboats here, very small ones, practically canoes. Probably meant to go out for either quick expeditions, fishing, or trade. They would go out by this river and leave along the river down here. Now, if you look up there, it's pretty far to see, but you can see what looks like a large flaming beacon, and those might be used to warn of an attack or an invasion of some kind. So if that's lit, that may mean that an invasion is on the way, or some kind of invading force, which would make sense in this war-torn territory. You see a lot of nets here, which means that a lot of fishing is probably done off of this. You can see, and you also notice that there's a lot of barnacles growing on these posts, which means that the water right now is probably at low tide. We probably need to see this water rise up a little bit, but that is for later. Let's keep going down this path. Now, as you would expect from a canyon, you have a lot of high rock faces, but not a lot of industry here. You're not going to see a whole lot of architecture here. You see the odd stuff, like if you look up there, you will see the longhouse up there, but as you can see, it's pretty sparse. It's pretty sparse, and we'll talk about some of that later. One thing that always kind of I wondered about was what would the canyon be used for in this time of war? Is it just a regular pathway to a different location? Like what is the canyon primarily used for? So we'll talk about my thoughts on that in a minute. We have some Viking runes up here and some glyphs and some symbols. Pretty cool looking, pretty cool. Come all the way around. We're just going to do a full circle. We see a nice sized statue of a head here, which implies that there used to be something bigger here at one point, but erosion or the cataclysm itself tore it down. And we'll walk back down into this portion of the canyon. Now look at the way the rock face is sculpted. This is not natural. I think that this canyon was deliberately sculpted for a reason. And you can see two more Viking faces either over here and here. They look like raider helms or warlord helms. And if we keep walking, we see another raider helm with the skull mask. We see a lot of helms here. Another one right there. So we're seeing a lot of Viking faces in this canyon, in this walkway. Again, that makes me wonder what this place was originally used for. What was the purpose of this location? And again, I have a few theories, and we'll get to it, but I'm building up to something here. We have a wagon here filled with timber, probably used for construction. Might be construction in that longhouse since it doesn't look quite completed. Now we'll move over here, and here we see something interesting. We see some gravestones. This looks like a place for Viking burial, or perhaps for just citizen burial. And it's near the river, so it's highly possible that they were either warriors who fought and died for Valkenheim, or they're family members of Vikings who were given an honorable burial, whichever. But you can see the Viking ruins and symbols on them. Looks really cool. We're going to come over here. Now look at this. This is a broken boat. This is a piece of a destroyed boat. But it is a massive boat and one that would be very interesting to go down this river. But remember when I said that this river is at low tide right now? When it's at high tide, this boat might have been able to carry the Vikings here. But it's so destroyed, my guess is this may have been one of the original boats that brought the Vikings to Heathmore in the first place. Or at least brought them back. Look at all the vegetation and overgrowth on the boat. This thing's been here for ages. So it's very possible this was one of the boats that brought the Vikings back to Heathmore after they left for a time. Now, if we walk down here, we see the spike set up here, probably some kind of trap or some kind of means to bottleneck enemy attack. Slip around through here. We have the forested area. Not a lot to say about the forested area. It's just, you know, a forest, but you know, you expect that. Now we come up here and we see another longhouse. Now, this longhouse has seen better days, at least in the entryway. You would go inside, probably find a place to eat, rest, or maybe even throw a nice party. But one thing that's very interesting about this longhouse is notice how it's built into the side of the canyon. It's not on top of the canyon, it's built into it, which means that these Vikings intended to stay for a long period, and they also probably turned this house into some kind of fishing house. Look at the way you have these fish and chickens just kind of strung up here. This is probably a fishing house, most likely. And I mean, it makes sense. It's easy to get to the river from here. Let's keep moving. Now again, along here, there's not a whole lot to say. We have a broken down wagon here. Nice little pathway to get to the center part of the map. We'll get to that. Now here, this is interesting. These are not, these do not look like Viking markings. These look like roots to the trees. So big trees connected here. And this spot right here, I could probably jump up there and get to that spot given my height, or given Einar's height anyway. But it looks like this would be an entryway for attackers to try to get in. But if you look up here, this archway right here, this looks like it was intended to be the entryway to this area. And I am about to explain to you guys what I think this area may have been. I have two theories, and we will get to it. You have a pathway that leads back down here to this walkway. But we will now focus primarily on what's here. This looks like a large place of gathering. This looks like a place of gathering right in front of those steps. We got a huge Viking ruin hidden behind a fallen tree right here. And one on the other side of it right here. But now, if we go up here, take a look. Y'all are probably already familiar with this area. Look at this big circular spot walking around this whole area right here. But you'll notice something interesting. Yes, there are a few crates here and there, but it's sparse on them. And you also see this big totem column right here, which looks like it used to be part of this circular walkway. I think this place could have been one of two things. One, I think this could have been a trading villa. This could have been a place where you came in to trade with the Vikings. You get off there when you unload. Unload your shipments, bring it up here, and take it to the longhouses or fish houses. Or you could take it beyond here, out that walkway into the deeper parts of Heathmoor, into other parts of Valkenheim. Or, and this is my other and most likely opinion, this is a ritual site. I believe that this may have been a shamanistic ritual site where rituals could have been performed or rites could have been given. I believe that because, for one thing, look at the gravestones down there. This could be a place where you give final rites to the dead. You also have that canyon and gorge we were walking through with all of the Viking helms and Viking faces sculpted into it, probably honoring ancestors or honoring the gods. And if you look here, this would be an excellent place for ritual rites to be performed where you have a shaman or a leader standing here speaking, and you have tons of people out here standing or kneeling or sitting, listening. That is one of the things that I believe this place could very well be. And I could be wrong about that. I don't have a lot of evidence one way or another, but I believe this place could be or could have been treated as a site of ritualistic practice. Probably some kind of shamanistic place of worship. But let's keep moving. Now we have a bridge that leads to this little walk-off point. This was obviously built makeshift. We have one here as well. I'm surprised it can hold my weight, but whatever. And we walk back over here. And we end up over here again. And if you actually look, I missed this early when I was walking by because I was focusing on other things. But we have a nice-sized statue of a guardian Viking with his great axe and shield just staring out over everything. Pretty cool to look at. Pretty cool. There's another one of your Viking helms. But you can kind of see what I was talking about. This, and you could also kind of like take a walk. Like, imagine if part of the ritualistic practice was you had to walk through this canyon and face the faces of your ancestors or face the gods, you know, stuff like that. It would be a really neat idea. At least it's my running theory right now. But if there's evidence to the contrary, I'll take it. I just think that that's what this place was designed to look like. But that is just my theory on the matter. And that about finishes up this tour. Like I said, not a whole lot to the canyon. Not a whole lot to look at or talk about. It's pretty sparse, and some maps are just like that. But it is very beautiful. I really do like the way this place comes off. I wish that it was more of a more popular map to run around on in like Dominion. But for what it is, I think it's a pretty decent map, pretty cool to look at. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along with me on this one, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.